How do you help a man with intimacy issues? That can be hard to do. Let's go break it down. As a therapist that specializes in sex addiction, I work with a lot of men with intimacy issues. Addiction is an attachment disorder, so people with addictions have problems with connection, with intimacy. So every day I work with men who struggle to be vulnerable, they struggle to be authentic, and they struggle to connect to other people in healthy ways. So I understand intimacy issues. I also understand how to help men who have intimacy issues. So if you're a partner in a relationship with somebody and you want them to get better, you want more connection, or if you yourself have intimacy issues, then listen up in this video and I'll give you more understanding about what's going on and what you can do about it. Usually people come to me because they have pain or problems going on in a relationship. And they come sit in my office and they say, Brannon, help us. Help us learn how to communicate, help us with our sex life, help us with our intimacy in all ways. The fact of the matter is the relationship problems are actually a symptom. They're not the actual issue. The problems are much deeper than that. The problems are about intimacy. They're about personal intimacy issues and an inability for the partner, the man or the woman for that matter, the inability for them to be able to be vulnerable in a relationship. And we got to look at why. Why do they struggle to be vulnerable in that relationship? Why can't they create connection? Why can't they go there with somebody in terms of empathy, sexual intimacy, spirituality? There's things that block it. There's fears that block it. There's shame that get in the way. I'm going to break down for you what actually happens and why intimacy issues exist. It's important to understand why, so then you can understand what to do to help a man with intimacy issues. But before I break it down, remember to subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about what happens to somebody and why they have intimacy issues in the first place. There's probably some trauma that's happened in their life. So what happens is we're all born into this world and we're all born with a pretty clean slate. Life's good. We laugh when we're happy and we cry when we're sad. But we're born into a certain family, we have certain experiences, and we start to interpret those experiences to mean something about us. And that trauma and those experiences lead to our identities. Oftentimes there are unwanted identities. They're the things about us that we don't want anybody else to see or know about us. So for example, let's say that I had a dad that wasn't involved in my life at all, and that was my life experience. That's trauma. So my identity is, I'm not worth loving. I'm not worth connecting to. So deep down, I have that belief about myself. Now think about that. How would that play out in a relationship? It would have all kinds of consequences. But because of my life experiences, now I have this belief. Those beliefs turn into behaviors. They turn into showing up as our false selves, trying to manipulate others to love us, to connect to us. I call it being a poser. Now, when you're your poser, you're not a man who can be intimate. You're a man who's manipulating, in denial, trying to force connection in all the non-vulnerable ways. So if you look at this whole progression here, the reason why intimacy issues are there are deep. These go back to unwanted identities that probably started in childhood. So the struggle to be open and the struggle to be intimate reflects one thing. It reflects that they don't truly know who they are and they don't truly love themselves. Even though they might be showing up as a narcissist or as somebody who really loves themselves in an arrogant way, they're actually saying, I don't know who I am, and therefore I don't want to be vulnerable in relationships. As a partner of somebody who struggles with intimacy issues, it can be really difficult. It can feel like you're beating your head against a wall. You can feel really lonely at times, hopeless, stuck. You're wanting more out of your relationship, but you're not getting that. And you can feel really helpless. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people in relationships like that. I also want you to know that there is hope, that your partner can learn how to be an intimate person, but there's something that they need that's critical. And that's a willingness to do their own work, a willingness to dive deep into this trauma and to resolve some of those issues and desensitize that trauma so that they can then show up as a vulnerable person in a relationship. In therapy, we do deep work and we do trauma work that actually helps somebody go from not knowing themselves and not loving themselves to understanding who they are and being able to show up vulnerable and powerful in a relationship as somebody who can connect to others. So I'd suggest a couple of things. Some of the modalities that we use, I know I'm going to use some big words, modalities and treatment and all this stuff, but I'd encourage you to research this stuff because it works to deal with shame and intimacy issues. One thing that I do often is called EMDR. That stands for eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. It's a way that we do therapy that helps us go into the trauma and rewire the brain and change some of those identities that get in the way of intimacy issues. Other forms of trauma therapy, there's one called accelerated resolution therapy, or ART. It's similar to EMDR. It desensitizes the trauma and helps you process it. Another really powerful form of therapy is called IFS, or internal family systems. I know none of this really means anything to you, but look it up and find a therapist who specializes in trauma treatment, and they should know about IFS, EMDR, and ART. IFS is really cool. It's about parts work. It's about understanding the different parts of you, the internal family inside of you that acts the way that it acts because it's trying to help you survive. And it helps you practice a lot of self-compassion and self-love. So these are therapeutic modalities that actually help somebody overcome their problems with intimacy. Now, if you're a partner and you're wanting to help your partner with intimacy issues, there's a couple things that you can do. You can't do this deep therapy, this deep trauma work with them. But what you can do is get as healthy as you possibly can get. Be a safe person for them. Be a safe person for them to work through the struggles that they're having with intimacy. Now, a safe person isn't a doormat, isn't somebody who never has an opinion. A safe person is a person who has their own boundaries, who's loving, who's empathetic, who's honest, and authentic in the relationship themselves. The answer to helping a man with intimacy issues is to be a woman who doesn't have her own intimacy issues and can actually help that man work through his. If you found this video helpful, and you're in a relationship with somebody who struggles with intimacy or somebody who's struggling with addiction, then check out my other video, What to Do When a Family Member Relapses, and that will help you work through creating safety and intimacy in the struggle of addiction.